First at noon, we begin with a live look at Honolulu Bay on Kauai's North Shore, where a flood watch is in effect. You can see those ominous skies out there. Our team is tracking a disturbance that could bring another round of wet weather to the state, starting with the Garden Isle this afternoon and lasting through the weekend. We have declared Friday and Saturday as first alert weather days. For everything you need to know, let's send it over to Billy V.
Thank you very much. On this Aloha Friday, this is a first alert weather day. Here's what we're tracking for you. The first alert weather day is initially Kauai through Maui County, and that's because we are expecting pop-up thunderstorms. That's going to be tonight into Sunday. Also, we're going to see the most rain among the windward and Mauka slopes of all of the islands, but Kauai and Oahu really get the brunt of it. We'll go take a look more deeper into this coming up in just a couple of moments from now on This Is Now.
Thank you, Billy. Well, President Trump announced alternative plans to keep his sweeping tariff policy in place after the Supreme Court handed his administration a major defeat. Erica Brown has the latest from the White House.
The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing.
President Trump sharply criticized the Supreme Court justices who struck down his sweeping tariff policy, including 2 justices he nominated during his first term.
I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed.
In a 6-3 decision, the High Court ruled the president does not have the authority to impose tariffs under a 1977 emergency powers law he used to levy taxes on nearly all U.S. global trading partners.
This is all about the idea that the Constitution gives Congress the power to regulate commerce, that the Constitution gives Congress the power to impose taxes.
This Chicago area educational toy company, Learning Resources, was part of the lawsuit challenging the tariffs, arguing the taxes would devastate their business.
We're feeling vindicated. We felt that the tax was an unlawful tax, and we're excited to see the Supreme Court take a very strong stance in favor of the equal application of law to all of us.
Despite the Supreme Court's ruling, President Trump says he will continue his policy by collecting new global tariffs under a different statute.
Today I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122, over and above our normal tariffs already being charged.
A CBS News poll in December found most Americans, 63%, oppose tariffs on imported goods. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Here at home, a man is reported in critical condition after a late-night crash. Now, this happened near the H1 Pali Highway off-ramp just after 10:20 last night. Paramedics from Honolulu EMS found the man in his 50s with serious traumatic injuries. He was treated at the scene and taken to an emergency room. No word yet on what led up to the crash. We'll bring you any updates as they become available. Meanwhile, a bill honoring a 16-year-old girl killed by a reckless, unlicensed driver now has another name added to it. As our Dylan Ancheta reports, the family of Koali Denning Ring is also fighting to increase penalties for repeat bad drivers.
House Bill 2589 passed its first Transportation Committee hearing Thursday with amendments. Initially called Sarah's Law in honor of 16-year-old hit-and-run victim Sarah Yara, Committee Chair Darius Keela added one more honorary name, Koali Denning Ring.
He died on September 24th, 2025, but every morning when I wake up, I relive it again. It's the same thing over and over because I know that I will never get to see him.
The 21-year-old father was hit and killed in Haleiwa, leaving behind a young daughter and his high school sweetheart. His family is now throwing their support behind a measure that would reclassify the offense when an unlicensed driver causes a deadly crash to a Class A felony.
Anything to make our roads safer, so that families don't have to go through this again.
The bill also adjusts the process for courts to order the suspect's vehicle to be taken away after multiple offenses.
And we're turning our pain into purpose and progress to keep our roads safe for all.
While most people support the intent of the measure to make roads safer, there is some opposition to the bill. It mostly centers around legal language and how it would work with existing laws.
We do not believe that would withstand judicial scrutiny and constitutional scrutiny. The nexus is not strong enough. It doesn't carefully articulate the behavior that you're attempting to criminalize.
The Office of the Public Defender pointed to manslaughter, negligent homicide, and even attempted murder charges in crash cases that have been applied in the past.
If you review our testimony, we make very clear that the nature of our opposition is that because we already do have laws on the books.
But some argue the existing laws simply aren't strong enough to deter repeat bad drivers from hitting the road.
With the laws we get now, these guys getting away with a slap on our wrist. Half of them not even serving time. They're going community service. They're back on the streets. You're taking somebody's life. There was somebody's life they took, and it hurts the whole family, and it takes long to heal.
After 5 or 6 in so many years, you shouldn't be on the road. It needs to change. Something needs to be done.
As Koali's family continues their push for change, they say the accused driver has yet to even apologize for what happened.
You can't give forgiveness unless it's being asked for. So I'm waiting for that. Hopefully one day he'll realize just what he did.
The bill must now be heard by the Judiciary and Hawaiian Affairs Committee before advancing. Dylan Ancheta, Hawaii News Now.
State lawmakers are also moving to split the Hawaiian Electric Company into 2 parts to encourage more renewable energy and lower costs. Senate Bill 3326 would put the Public Utilities Commission in charge of separating HECO's power generation business from its transmission and distribution services by the year 2050. Supporters say this would promote competition and investment and lead to lower rates and more reliable service. But critics worry it'll cause disruptions with no guarantees of lower costs. State regulators told lawmakers that renewable energy has faced delays, but they insist their efforts will reduce rates in time.
Unfortunately, a lot of the delay has been with evolution of technology, changing technology, changing circumstances.
Both the PUC as well as HECO have this kind of public conveyance of everything's okay, we're working on solutions, be patient. And I think at this point, the public is losing patience.
In a statement to HNN, HECO said billions of dollars in infrastructure investments have been made and base rates have barely moved over the past 15 years despite surging inflation. The committee passed the measure with amendments requiring the PUC to study the issue and provide a report before next year's legislature convenes. Well, fresh anger over an EPA decision to let the Navy stop going to public meetings on the Red Hill fuel leaks.
I really do wish the Navy and the EPA would come back to the table. This is about the community, not about them.
Coconut Wireless is the only way things are going to get done here. The Navy is definitely out to lunch. They didn't even let us know anything about canceling their time here on the board with the board.
Those monthly meetings are a way for concerned parties to hold the Navy accountable for contaminating the drinking water for more than 90,000 Oahu residents. Raquel Kahlo has more on the outrage and the Navy's new plan to inform the public.
In the wake of the 2021 fuel spills, the Navy was required to attend meetings held by the Community Representation Initiative. The Navy ended up skipping many of those meetings. Now the EPA says the Navy doesn't have to attend them anymore.
I really am not surprised, but it really is insulting to the whole community, the whole island, and the future of generations that are going to be poisoned.
The Environmental Protection Agency says the Navy no longer has to attend monthly public meetings to answer questions about water safety and the cleanup of the Red Hill fuel spills. The military will instead inform the public through newsletters, podcasts, and an annual town hall.
The Navy in particular does not like public meetings where everybody can hear the question that's being asked and the answers being given. They prefer to talk with people one-on-one, and I think that allows them to tailor their answers to the audience that they are speaking with.
Community members say the change comes after repeated Navy absences from meetings and frustration over agenda control.
It was very disappointing to hear that the EPA just accepted the Navy's new plan for engaging with the community that cut out the people who have been trying to engage with them for 2 years already. Really demonstrates that the EPA in particular is just going to shield the Department of Defense from direct engagement with the community that was harmed by their actions.
The chair of the community initiative says the Navy had raised concern about tensions at meetings, but she says her group took steps to improve the dialogue.
I was definitely devastated and surprised because our December meeting went so well with the Navy and the DOH and the EPA. We had a trauma-informed facilitator.
Critics say they want more answers from the Navy about uncleaned water lines and the plan to reopen drinking sources shut down after the disaster. We reached out to the EPA for more information and are still waiting for a response. Raquel Kahlo for Hawaii News Now.
A 4-year-long 24/7 road closure is set to begin next month for more rail work in Kalihi. The first area impacted will be Kamehameha Highway and Dillingham Boulevard from Middle Street to Pu'uhale Road, while crews build 3 new stations and new sections of guideway. Only 1 lane in each direction on the Malka side of the road will be open. Current left turn restrictions will also remain in place. Hart says it will announce an exact start date once the plan is finalized. And if you own a Nissan Rogue, you may want to listen up. The company has announced they are recalling more than 640,000 of them. The recall comes as issues have risen with the compact SUV's gears and engine. Engine bearings in the Rogue in some models from 2023 to 2025 could fail, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. They said the issue could lead to hot oil potentially leaking and causing a fire. A separate defect could cause gears to break in some of the 2024-2025 models. Nissan plans to send letters alerting affected owners next month.
It's been nearly 3 weeks since Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home, and there is no indication of where she is or who's behind the kidnapping. I'm Anders Gutierrez in Tucson, Arizona, with the latest on the investigation.
Also head on This Is Now, drama and triumph for Team USA at the Winter Games, especially for the U.S. women. We have your Olympics highlights in 2 minutes. There are no new leads that have been made public in the Nancy Guthrie investigation. The 84-year-old mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie has been missing now for 20 days. Andres Gutierrez is in Tucson, Arizona.
Saturday marks 3 weeks since Nancy Guthrie was last seen alive in Tucson. On Friday, Mexican officials said there's no indication the 84-year-old could be in the country and no joint investigation exploring that possibility. Experts say doorbell camera video of a suspect still provides the best clues to help solve the kidnapping.
It looks like somebody who's very much planned not to leave any trace of himself.
Investigators have little to go on. A man described as 5'9" or 10 inches tall with an average build, carrying a backpack bought at Walmart that does not appear to be heavy, inviting theories of why he carried it.
He thought he was going to need something like that to carry items away. It could be items like rags, things to clean up, cleaning solutions. So we don't know what investigators are finding inside the house.
Investigators say they're considering using genealogy sites to match DNA found in Guthrie's home.
The best type of DNA is inside the house that comes directly from bodily fluids. So blood, sweat, saliva.
A spokeswoman with the Pima County Sheriff's Department says this is not a cold case. It remains an active investigation with many calls coming in. Just in the last few weeks, the department has received almost 55,000 911 calls compared to fewer than 30,000 a year ago. Several hundred investigators are assigned to the case. Rewards for information leading to whoever kidnapped Guthrie are now over $200,000 following an anonymous donation of $100,000 earlier this week. Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Tucson.
All right, let's take you to Italy for a look at the Olympic flame in Milan. Stay with KHNL for all your Olympics coverage. Today's events include hockey and speed skating. At last check, the U.S. was winning in hockey. And here's a look at the latest medal count. Norway still leads the pack with 37 total medals. They also have the most gold so far with 17. Followed by the U.S. with 28 total medals right now. The U.S. currently has 10 gold medals. The most recent was won this morning with Alex Ferreira taking gold for men's freestyle halfpipe skiing. And Team USA is celebrating one of its best days of these games. Alyssa Liu won gold in women's figure skating, the first American to do so in 24 years. And the U.S. women's hockey team beat Canada in overtime. Kelly O'Grady reports from Milan.
Captain America herself, Hillary Knight, tied up the gold medal game against Canada with just 2 minutes left.
As soon as it was going over to Layla, I was like, I better get in front of that net.
Sending the storied Olympic rivalry into a sudden death 3-on-3 overtime. Less than 5 minutes in, it was America's Megan Keller who seized the moment.
Just saw one defender. I thought, why not? Let's take a chance here and try and get to the net.
Sliding the puck past Canada's defense to net the golden goal. The crowd erupted as an emotional Team USA celebrated its first gold in 8 years.
We always get bitten by Canada. They always do it to us every year.
But not tonight.
Yeah, not tonight. We were right on top of that winning goal. It was incredible.
It was spectacular. Also on the ice, speed skater Jordan Stolz was looking for a golden three-peat in his 1,500-meter race Thursday. But a slow start put his chances for any medal in jeopardy. Despite an explosive ending, Stolz crossed the finish line 77 hundredths of a second after the top contender, earning a bittersweet silver medal.
Yeah, I think 2 gold medals in itself is already a huge accomplishment, and silver's not bad. And to be able to have 3 medals, that's super cool. The pressure with expecting 4 gold medals, that's not something I was thinking about too much. I was just focusing on my races and what I could do and what I can control.
At the women's figure skating final, it was Blade Angel Alyssa Liu who earned a new title, Olympic champion. Liu was in third after her short program Tuesday, but a stunning free skate performance. Filled with her signature spunk, skill, and smiles, put Liu on top of the podium and ended America's 20-year medal drought in the event.
Alyssa Liu just became the Olympic champion. What's your reaction?
It's just amazing. She did an amazing job. She was flawless. She was free.
Fellow American Amber Glenn also found redemption after a tough short program. She skated a nearly perfect program to pull up to 5th place, but it was Liu's joy that won the night. And in a Winter Games where we've talked so much about the pressure these athletes are under, that freedom was her secret weapon. Kelly O'Grady, CBS News, Milan.
All right, let's take a live look outside with our tower cam. As we mentioned, we have first alert weather days in the forecast. Billy B is going to have more in 2 minutes.
First Alert Weather with Billy V.
Thank you very much. All right, here we go on this First Alert Weather Day. We're going to start off with the surf and kind of get that out of the way. There is a high surf advisory in effect. That's probably going to be until this evening, 7 to 10 feet. That's on the way down. That'll be 6 to 8 feet by this afternoon. Everything else is smaller than that. Let's go ahead and take a look real quickly at your conditions right now. Small craft advisories in effect for the highlighted Hawaiian waters due to the strong and gusty trade winds. And we've got a flood watch that is currently in effect. Actually, that will go into effect a little bit later on this afternoon until Saturday early morning. That's going to be for the islands of Niihau and Kauai. Here we go. Let's give you some of the components here that we're watching. First of all, we've got low pressure up to the north of us, northwest of us, and so that is bringing up all this tropical moisture as it goes ahead and turns in a counterclockwise movement. And once again, that's pulling up all the moisture. Here's the Hawaiian Islands and into the island chain. So as we get a little bit closer, you can see some of that moisture that's coming along the way. And not only is this coming here, but also we're going to have windward and Mauka showers coming in. You put the two together and it looks like Hawaii and Oahu might get the brunt of all of this moisture, and Niihau as well. So here's right now Oahu, northeasterly winds 9 miles per hour, 75 degrees. As we get from the midday here, 1 o'clock, and we go forward in time, you can see those winds are going to be east northeasterly. They're going to be about 10 to 20 miles per hour. They will weaken as we go. Let's go ahead and take a look real quickly at this future cast. This is tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. You can see some of that heavier shower activity as some of it comes up, and then as we move on, some of it's also moving laterally along the island chain and on through. But as we get in towards Sunday and Monday, now what we get is we get this line of moisture up here, and that's going to start to drop down into the islands as we get into Monday, Tuesday, and possibly into Wednesday. So we're watching that very, very carefully. There's going to be another 4 or 5 days of rain that we're going to be having. So places like Niihau, Kauai, you might want to, use some caution because you're going to get some shower activity here into the overnight. You're already going to be saturated. Here we're going to get more showers. There's a possibility of flooding for Niihau, Kauai, and maybe even Oahu here. And as we go on through, you can see we still got weather to contend with all the way through Wednesday and possibly Thursday. Get the latest on air, online, and on your mobile device at hawaiinewsnow.com.
Excitement over the Winter Games is everywhere. At a ski resort in Kentucky, a few kids won a gold medal in human curling. Laura Ullman shows us what that means.
That was an awesome effort and enough to win him the gold here at our Smugs Winter Games.
I always wished to get a gold medal.
Parks Preston is a first grader in Jeffersonville. He had art and music at school Tuesday. He never thought his day would end with him getting gold at the Smuggler's Notch Winter Games.
I found there was a line to sign up, and I asked my sister, and when it was my turn, I just got the golden medal.
The event is the highly competitive human curling competition. At Smugs, the Winter Games is a time-honored, Olympics-inspired tradition, but it's the first year of human curling.
The rules for human curling are quite simple. You need one participant to sit in a tube and another participant to be able to push you. You cannot put your feet or hands down. The tube has to stop naturally on its own in the big orange circle that we paint on the snow.
If you get in the circle, you win gold. For Parks, nothing meant more to him than sharing the winning moment with his big sister.
I'm proud of him for going and doing it.
There's more Winter Olympic Games at Smugs this week, including a human Iditarod where one person gets dragged around in a tube, and there's also glow tubing and sled building.
The last day of the Winter Olympics at Smuggler's Notch is February 22nd. Reporting in Jeffersonville, I'm Laura Ullman, Channel 3 News. And no gold medal for me.
All right, thank you so much for watching This Is Now. Stay with us for more on the first alert weather days we have in effect. More news first at 4 right here on KHNL.